Hi everyone, welcome to this lecture. So in this lecture, we are going to solve our project 2 on decision tree classifier. So here I am at my project 2. So click on this file so that we can open it in our Google Colab environment. So here I am at my project 2. So in this project, I am going to use a breast cancer dataset. For this, I am going to import this dataset from Scikit-learn.dataset. I also need pandas, numpy, and I also need a tree which I am importing from Scikit-learn. Then from Scikit-learn.tree, I am importing decision tree classifier. I also need a matplotlib. Okay, so I also importing a plot tree from sklearn.tree. I need train test split and I need confusion matrix. Let's run this cell to import all these Python libraries in our environment. Now it's time to get the data. So we are going to use a breast cancer dataset, which we have already imported from sklearn.dataset. Now it's time to load the dataset in terms of data frames. Let's run this cell. So this is our breast cancer dataset in terms of data frame. We can see that we have 569 rows and we have 31 columns. So out of these 31 columns, we will use 30 columns as a feature and the last column will be our target or label. If we scroll here, we can see that the last column is a column of target and it has two unique values, 0 and 1. 0 means the patient doesn't have a cancer and 1 means the patient has a cancer. Okay, so this is our data set. Now, if we see that shape of the data set, we can confirm from here as well. The shape is 569 by 31. Let's check if there is any null value in any of the column. So we can see that there is no null value. So the data is very clean. Now it's time to extract feature. So this is very standard stuff. Here I am extracting my features X and Y. Let's run this cell. Here are our features and we can see that out of 31 column, 30 columns belongs to our feature. Let's see how many unique values are present in our label. So we have two unique value, 0 belongs to no cancer and 1 belongs to cancer. So we have extracted X, we have extracted Y. Now it's time to perform train test split. So I'm going to use a function train test split where I'm going to use 20% of our data as a test and remaining 80% as a training data. Let's run this cell to perform train test split. So I will get 4 output, training component of the data, the testing component of the data, training labels, and a testing label. Now it's time to instantiate our decision tree and fit to the data. So here I am instantiating my decision tree and I'm calling it as a D tree. Here I am not passing any input parameter. It means I am going to use the default values here. Let's run this cell to instantiate the decision tree and train the decision tree on my training component of the data. Here, the training has been completed. Now it's time to get the prediction. So we have calculated or we have get the predictions from our decision tree classifier. Now it's time to calculate the accuracy. For accuracy, we will compare the predictions of a decision tree with the actual label of the testing component of the data. Let's run this cell. So we can see that we got very high accuracy, which is nearly 94%. So this is the strength of a decision tree. We can see that this data is not an easy data. It has 30 columns in the feature. Even then, we are able to get the 94% accuracy. Now let's construct the decision tree. So this is very standard stuff in order to construct the decision tree and display in the form of image. Okay, so here, basically, this is our confusion matrix. If we see high values are classified correctly, this is our value which is classified correctly as a 0. And this is our value which is classified correctly as a label 1. And these 7 value, only the 7 values are misclassified. That's why our accuracy is high. That is 94%. Now it's time to visualize the decision tree. For decision tree visualization, I am going to use filled tree. That is, I am going to use a function plot tree. The first input is decision tree classifier, filled is true, and feature name are the name of the columns of the feature. Let's run this cell. Now, as expected, since we have 30 features, Now, student, we have 30 features. So this is a tree with maximum depth. So we can see that the depth of a tree is very large. So we were expecting this kind of a tree because we have over 500 samples and we have 30 features. Okay, let's see from which feature the tree has started. So if I click on this, so I have increased the size of the tree, and in order to see the first of the feature, so we can see that this is the most important feature. Its value is mean concave point. Its name is mean concave points. Its Gini value is 0.467. It has 455 features. And split start from its value less equals to 0.051. So we have seen that out of these 30 features, the most important feature is mean concave point. That's why the split start from this feature. Okay, let's calculate the information gain of all the features. So here I am going to calculate the information gain of all the features. So we have the code D3, which is our model, dot feature underscore importance. Let's run this cell. So here is the list of all 30 features. So if I see here, this is the maximum value of the information gain, which is 0.691420. And it belongs to a feature called mean concave point. And we have already seen in our decision tree that our decision tree started from this feature. That is, this feature is our root node for the decision tree. And we have also confirmed from its information gain that it has the maximum information gain. That's why this is the most important feature. If we scroll down and see any other value which is greater than 0.69, so there is no value which is greater than this 0.69. That's why this is the most important feature, and our tree started from this feature. So in this lecture, we implement our decision tree classifier into a challenging data which have 30 features. We saw that we got a tree of large depth value, and when we observe the most important feature, it is found as a mean concave point with a Gini value of 0.467. Then we confirm the important feature with the help of the information gain value, and we saw it has a 0.69 as an information gain value, which is highest than any other feature. So I hope you understood this project too. Thanks for listening, and I will see you in the next lecture.